for the counter, Chris. All right.
Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Intercontinental Rally Challenge 2. Second of 13 rallies, this year's calendar is a challenging mix of gravel and tarmac rounds, ending once again in Cyprus in November. For round 2, we're based on Gran Canaria, the third largest island in the Spanish archipelago, and the event is the first tarmac round of this, the 6th season of IRC. The event is centred around Las Palmas de Gran Canaria in the north of the island and has 15 stages over 241 kilometres. Here we are in the beautiful archipelago of the Canaries, comprised of 7 volcanic islands and situated in the North Atlantic Ocean, around 150 kilometres west of Morocco and 1,000 kilometres south of Spain. Optimal car setup and effective pace notes are key to success on this rally, which has undulating stages with a mixture of narrow and fast sections on an abrasive surface, offering high grip and high tyre wear. So this is how the standings are after round 1 in the Azores. Andreas Mikkelsen, current champion, leading from Juho Hannanen, Bouffier, Wiegand and Herman Gassman Jr. Ricardo Moura and the rest of the crew there bringing up the top 10. Some Rally Art and Group N machines making it in there as well. 15 from Peugeot. Peugeot not making quite such an effort this year as they have in the past. So here's the runners for this year's event. This is Kopecki's first IRC outing of the year for the Works Skoda team. He finished second in Canarias last year behind his teammate Hannanen. 3 times runner-up in the IRC, he's proven pace on tarmac.
Last 2 years I was quite quick over here. Only last year I made a mistake with the notes and I lost the first place, and maybe I lost the championship because I lost the first place over here on 1.5 seconds. And I think Andreas will be very quick because he made a big step last year on the tarmac, and now he's really motivated from Azores where he won quite clearly, so I think he's a big arrival.
Current IRC champions Andreas Mikkelsen and Ola Floen continue their full IRC programme with Skoda UK. Andreas won the first event of the year in the Azores, his 3rd in a row if you include Scotland and Cyprus from last year. He's looking for a win on tarmac.
Coming into this rally, it's 4 or 5 months since I've done a tarmac rally now, so it's a little bit to get used to, I think. But good test before the rally, and I feel confident, and hopefully we can push from the first meter.
The other battle here is likely to be between the 2 young German drivers. Sepp Wiegand, 21 years old, started rallying in 2010, and he won the first battle in the Azores, finishing 4th ahead of Herman Gassman Jr. Herman Gassman Jr. back this year by Red Bull. He was the youngest German rally champion in 2009. He wants his revenge, but he's aware that the local drivers could pose more of a threat.
Who's the main person to beat?
Yeah, it's of course Sepp Wiegand from Germany, and yeah, we will see the other guys. I don't know many of the Spanish drivers, so we will have a look.
First of the local heroes is Luis Monzon in his Peugeot 207 S2000. Monzon is the event promoter, Spanish rally champion in 2001, and obviously knows the stages well.
It's very difficult to go fast for the pilot that don't live here, but for me it's easier. I would like to get the 3rd position, but it's very difficult to get it.
Dream Team Ukraine is present with 2 Ford Fiesta S2000s. The main threat is from Alexander Salyuk. The Ukrainian driver has won his national title 4 times and finished 7th in the Azores. So 9 stages for day 1 of the Canarias Rally with a competitive distance of nearly 140 kilometres. The day's final stage is a 1.5 kilometre blast around the go-kart circuit, especially for the spectators. So before the action came the ceremonial start on Thursday night. As usual, an enthusiastic crowd greets the IRC stars. One of the crews, in fact, had to walk over the start ramp because their car was awaiting some parts. But that is within the rules, and there they go. So day 1 then, special stage 1. We are 1, 8.30 kilometres long at 7:53 local time. It's not the longest test of the rally, but the crews are going to need to manage their tyres because of that abrasive tyre surface, road surface. You can see as well with the downhill stretch at the end of the stage, particularly difficult on tyres and brakes. So Andreas Mikkelsen first on the road, first in the championship last year. Despite his recent success, he's still looking for that first tarmac win in the IRC. He missed San Remo last year by just 1.5 seconds. Mikkelsen only finished 6th here last year, but he has since then shown blistering pace on tarmac, and he sets the benchmark of 4 minutes 19.3. Kopecky then, still regarded as an asphalt specialist, 2 IRC wins on tarmac last year. This is his first outing in the IRC in 2012. He has a mixed programme of IRC and Czech Championship rallies. He won here 2 years ago and was runner-up last year. He's second on the stage, just 2/10 off Mikkelsen. Wiegand third on the road in his Fabia S2000 after a strong 4th place in the Azores. He decides to have a sensible start in Canarias, and he goes 6th quickest, 8 seconds off Mikkelsen's pace. Our fellow countryman Herman Gassman Jr. takes advantage of the steady start of Wiegand. He clocks the 4th fastest time, 2.7 seconds ahead, but 5.3 behind Mikkelsen. After a disappointing SWRC campaign in 2011, Gassner would certainly appreciate coming out on top of the German battle. Alberto Hevia only running 10th on the road, but sets a fantastic 3rd fastest time, only 4.4 seconds back from the leader. Hevia was Spanish rally champion in 2010 in a Skoda Fabia, and of course famously burst into tears when a puncture cost him a possible victory on the Asturias round of the IRC. Great start by him. So we can see Mikkelsen leading by 0.2 of a second from Kopecky. On then to special stage 2. This was at 12 minutes past 8 local time. It's the longest stage of the rally at nearly 25 kilometres. And we've mentioned the abrasiveness of the road surface already. It's because they're largely made of the volcanic material which makes up the Canary Islands. And here you can see very much an up and down stage, very, very twisty, and important to manage all of the tyre and brake situation. Andreas Mikkelsen around the hairpin there at the start. He continues to set the pace. Leading overall, defending champion increases his gap to just 2.5 seconds, winning the stage with a time of 15:17.6. And towards the end of the stage, Mikkelsen very cleverly backs off just to save his brakes to make sure they're there for the next one. Kopecky continues to stalk Mikkelsen. He says that Mikkelsen is taking bigger risks than he wants to at this stage. He drops 2.3 seconds on the stage and is now 2.5 behind Mikkelsen overall. Sepp Wiegand, the young German, struggled to find a good rhythm on this long special stage. He preferred to stay at a sensible pace and gain confidence before pushing harder. He only goes 5th fastest, 21.7 back from Mikkelsen, 2.2 behind his main rival, Herman Gassman Jr., who is 4th fastest. Ricardo Mora in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9, first of the Group N cars. He is the worst of the news, unfortunately, for stage 2. He is forced to retire due to mechanical reasons. He was 9th fastest on special stage 1, but he suffers a broken turbo. That's a shame because he was 6th on the first round of the IRC in the Azores. Alexander Saliuk in the M Sport Fiesta S2000 also suffers bad luck on this long stage. He's running 6th on the road. He has a mechanical issue and he loses the rear drive on his Fiesta S2000. He manages to complete the stage 9th quickest, losing almost 50 seconds to the leader, and isn't sure if the transmission will hold out until first service. Luis Monzon, local hero, running 9th on the road after his 5th fastest time on special stage 1. The event promoter goes 3rd fastest on special stage 2, 13.8 behind Jan Kopecky. He takes the 3rd overall spot from his fellow countryman Alberto Hevia, who only manages 6th quickest time on this stage. Fans obviously impressed there by the Spanish drivers as well, good to see. Big crowds out, not quite so warm in the Canary Islands as it is in the summer. So looking now at Tejeda 1, special stage 3. 9:03 local time. Final stage in this first loop. 3 loops in the morning and then repeated again in the afternoon, and you can see those same characteristics. Again, a very fast section there towards the end of the stage, and then steep downhill before one last climb. So Andreas Mikkelsen, he continues to dominate the top of the timesheets, not really making huge gains, just a little at a time. He takes his third stage win in a row with a time of 8 minutes 46.3. Jan Kopecky starts to turn up the wick a little, an increase in pace and in pressure on Mikkelsen. Sees the Czech driver lose only 1.1 seconds on the Norwegian for this run. Kopecky continuing to use Pavel Dresler as co-driver after he stepped in at the end of last year to replace an ill Petestari. Alexander Saliuk, sadly, as you can hear here, he couldn't make the kart last until service. The transmission finally gives way and he has to withdraw from day one of the event with no drive. No such problems for Luis Monzon. He again sets the third fastest stage time in the 2:07. And he commented later that on those fast downhill sections that we were just looking at, he had to be very brave to make up for a lack of pace on the uphill sections. Now the event promoter loses only 9 seconds to Mikkelsen, increases his gap overall on Herman Gassman Jr. to 6.5, and he clocks the third fastest time. Alberto Hevier and Sepp Wiegand locked in battle on special stage 3. The Spaniard takes back the advantage, going 5th fastest, 2.8 seconds ahead of Wiegand, who preserved his brakes on the downhill sections of the stage. Hevier takes 5th spot back, but it's Mikkelsen who returns to service in the lead.
Right now I'm pushing maybe 95%. I have the last 5, which if I need to I will try, but okay, then I'm driving with the risk, and I don't want to do that too early in the rally. I save it for later.
So it means that we are pushing for 90%, I think, yeah? We have 10% more. We will see. We will see in the next loop.
I have very passion for go fast and fast, and I try to push all the time. I don't know at the end what will be the result, but always push until the end of the race.
There we are then, so after the first loop, Andreas Mikkelsen leading by 3.6 seconds from Jan Kopecky, and Luis Monzon with that very, very impressive performance, separating the Skodas in the top 5 and sitting in 3rd place overall, just 31 seconds back. We're going to take a short break. Jan Kopecky definitely hasn't given up. Join us in a moment and find out what happened on loop 2. Welcome back to IRC Day 1 Rally Canarias highlights. After the first loop of 3 stages, Andreas Mikkelsen leads the rally 3.6 seconds ahead of Jan Kopecky and 31.1 ahead of the local driver and event promoter Luis Monzon at Peugeot 207 S2000. We're heading back to Guyar 2. Remember, this is a repeat of the morning's loop of stages, so just a short 8.30 kilometre stage, but mostly uphill, as you can see, which will be a disadvantage for Monzon, not in the latest spec car. So here's Kopecky then, after being dominated by Mikkelsen all morning. He increases his pace and beats his morning stage time by more than 2 seconds. It's the Czech driver's first IRC special stage win in 2012. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of Norwegian Mikkelsen. Alberto Hevier shows more good pace on special stage 4. After setting the 3rd quickest time on special stage 1, he does the same on the repeat stage on loop 2. 3rd fastest, 3.5 behind Kopecky, and obviously a stage that he likes. There's the overall after special stage 4. Mikkelsen just 2.1 up on Kopecky, very tight at the top. Special stage 5 then, back onto the long one again. By now it was 12:35 local time, so temperatures higher. As we already know, the road is very abrasive. With the increased temperatures again, the drivers now really having to make sure to take care of everything so that they don't struggle on the final stage before heading back to service. 9 stages today, and this is stage 5. Kopecky then continues with the same rhythm. He goes quickest on special stage 5, only by a tiny margin. We're going to have a look in a moment at Eurosport's unique simulcam, and we'll be able to compare his pace to Mikkelsen's at the end of this stage. So here we are then, Kopecky's car with the black roof and Mikkelsen's with the Union Jack livery. can see the difference there. Kopecky definitely getting a better than from that corner, and then later on the brakes and carrying more speed through the corner as well. So an increase in pace from the Czech driver. You can see the flying finish there. The yellow boards warn the drivers that they're just coming up. Behind the top two drivers, fights are numerous, particularly fierce between Heavier and Vigan. The Spaniard doesn't like the Artenera stage. He again loses a lot of time, suffering from very bad understeer. He goes 6th fastest, loses 7.6 to the German, who takes the 5th overall spot. Sepp Wiegand increases his pace on this afternoon loop. The young German improves his rhythm. He's 5th fastest in the stage and 20.2 seconds down on the stage winner Kopecky. And another Spain versus Germany duel for 3rd and 4th. There is a tight battle between Gassner and Monzon, driving at his maximum. Gassner tries to challenge the pace of the local man Monzon, and he almost does it. We're going to have another look at simulcam at the two drivers right at the end of the stage. Fantastic onboards as always with the IRC. Here we are as the two drivers come down towards the end, and you can see, barring a tiny difference in line, entry and exit pace, really the two cars are exceptionally closely matched. And in fact, Monzon around that final corner there manages to take the 3rd place on the stage by just 1/10 of a second from Gassner. Stage 6 then, Tejeda 2, the 14.31 kilometres. Just after lunchtime now, right at the very top of Volcanic Mountain. It's a technical and fast stage, high elevation, and it goes clockwise around the Rock Nublo Monuments. Andreas Mikkelsen with his lead from Kopecky down to just 1.6 seconds. He must push to maintain 1st position. He beats his own time on this stage in the morning loop by over 5 seconds and is clearly flying, as well as using every inch of the road. Jan Kopecky, after 2 stage wins, has a chance to complete the hat-trick and put further pressure on his Norwegian rival. Despite taking big risks, he can't compete with Mikkelsen's grip and commitment. And the Czech driver's time is 3.5 seconds slower. Sepp Wiegand, the young German, learning fast here in Gran Canaria. He's quick until, unfortunately, his Skoda experiences a mysterious loss of power on the uphill sections. You've seen it's very mountainous, and that cost him a lot of time. Something for the guys to look at when he manages to return to service next. Hermann Gassner Jr., his compatriot, has no such trouble. He posts another good time, goes 4th quickest on the stage, and is now 17.6 seconds ahead of Sepp Wiegand. Jonathan Perez, runner-up in the 2011 Spanish Asphalt Rally Championship, clearly a talent. He posts another top 8 time here, and is only 2.5 seconds slower than German driver Wiegand in the Fabia. Good to see that the 207 is still competitive, and of course Peugeot working hard in the background, the latest evolution, actually taking part in a rally this weekend in Le Touquet in France. Luis Monzon in an older evolution here. Spanish driver in a different league. Returns to rallying after racing Lamborghinis for the last 2 years. Very impressive. He's a resident of Gran Canaria, as we've already said, and you can see he's very spectacular indeed. Oleksiy Tamrazov, he's now alone to defend the Dream Team Ukraine banner. He's 8th quickest, plus 31.2 seconds on the leaders. Back to the service park then, and after the second loop, Mikkelsen still returns as overall leader, but only by 5.1 seconds.
Well, he was pushing quite a lot, so I needed to raise my game, and didn't want him to take more time, so I pushed on quite a lot on the last one. And
no, I don't know. I was thinking maybe I was a little bit sliding too much now on the last stage, and you know, with this car without turbo, it's quite easy to lose the time if you are sliding too much.
Good news for Sepp Wiegand as well. His mechanics find the problem which was costing him power. It was a crankshaft sensor, which they changed for the last stages of the day. Overall then, after special stage 6, Mikkelsen leading by just 5.1, and you can see those two guys are in a different class. 1 minute 4.4 back to Luis Monzon. A couple of two-wheel drive cars making it up into the top 10 as well. So join us after the break then. 3 more stages remain from day 1, and we'll see who leads overall. Now welcome back to IRC Day 1 Rally Canaries highlights. And aside, of course, from the battle for the overall honours, we also have Production Cup and the two-wheel drive. First of all, we'll have a look at the Production Cup. Ricardo Mora then, turbocharger, kills all his chances on special stage 2.
Extremely disappointing. We made a big effort to be here in the second round of the IRC. We came here as leaders of Group 1, winning the first rally, and unfortunately we're not making any points this round.
Bad luck also for Jose Barros in his Subaru Impreza. He loses his brakes on special stage 3 and retires as a result. Marco Tempestini, after 20 years experience, he wants to win the Production Cup this year. Retired in the Azores last time out, but is fighting for victory here. Fighting with him all day long is Robert Consani and the Renault Megane. The two drivers have exchanged the rally lead 3 times today, but it's the Frenchman in the Megane who ends leg 1 with a sizable lead. Great performance by him. Using a Megane, I think, on tarmac and a Clio on gravel. The ambitious Frenchman is also competing for the two-wheel drive category. He finishes the day 5th place in the two-wheel drive cup. Angel Marrero in the morning loop. The Spanish driver moved up from 4th to 2nd in his Honda, and then from stage 3 has made 3rd place his own, where he remains at the end of day 1. You can see how hard they're trying there on the onboards. .36 seconds ahead of Marrero in 2nd place. His IRC two-wheel drive cup is fellow Spaniard Gorka Anguisti. 3-stage wins in the group on the first day here in Gran Canaria give him a good 2nd place in his Suzuki Swift, 19.8 seconds behind the leader. Joan Viñez in his Suzuki Swift 1600 is leading the two-wheel drive cup category into the 2nd day of IRC Gran Canaria. He guided his Suzuki through the 9 stages and dominated the field throughout. It's an impressive drive today. Viñez is 1st in class and 7th overall at the end of day 1. On then to Engenio 1. Fans out in force again. Coming towards the end of the day now. This stage was run at 5:29 local time. 21.29 kilometres. You can see a climb and then a big descent. Right the way down to the bottom of the mountain. Very, very hard on brakes. Andreas Mikkelsen, then a particularly long uphill at the start and then a fast downhill at the end. He has a big moment off the road and is very lucky to recover and complete the stage. The car is not dented, but his lead is. This excursion loses the Norwegian 1.5 seconds in the fight to keep the rally lead. A very tricky downhill hairpin there as well. Jan Kopecky putting the pressure on Mikkelsen. He navigates this 21-kilometre tarmac roller coaster without making a mistake. Smooth and fast. He takes a stage win, his 3rd of the day, and is now only 3.6 seconds off the lead. Sepp Wiegand struggled a little in this stage. He had a few wild moments, at times a little bit too fast, but he still managed to keep the Skoda on track and bring it home just. You can see there, very lucky not to take the wheel off. On the onboard there you can hear the bang on the car as well. Keeps him in 5th overall. Alberto Hevia, another great drive by him, putting only 2.7 seconds behind Wiegand overall, piling on the pressure, but unfortunately on the liaison section the Skoda Fabia overheated and the Spanish crew are forced to retire from the event. You can see there again, overall nothing between Mikkelsen and Kopecky with 2 stages left to run. So Agüimes won 24.67 kilometres, 6:27 local time. Another long stage, another downhill section. And the final stage of the day is run around that go-kart track. So not too much to worry about in terms of tyres and brakes, only 1.5 kilometres to go after this one. Luis Monzon then still at a good pace. He has a third fastest stage time in Special Stage 8, which is his 6th of the first leg. Very impressed with him, very quick indeed, moving the car around at extremely high speed. Andreas Mikkelsen is managing his lead at the end of the first day. He sets the second best time on Special Stage 8, losing 2.5 seconds, but he keeps the overall lead by 1.1 second over his main rival. And here he is, Jan Kopecky, still improving his pace. He wins his 4th Special Stage of the day, equals the score of Mikkelsen in terms of stage wins. And in fact, he wins the last stage as well on the go-kart track, but more on that in just a moment. So this is the classification after day 1. Kopecky leading from Mikkelsen by just 1.2 seconds, with Luis Monzon almost out of reach now, even with a puncture for one of the top 2 runners. It's definitely a 2-horse race. And Mikkelsen's going to explain why he's in second.
We don't want to be first on the road tomorrow, basically, so we dropped a little bit of time. So it's much easier to hunt down than being hunted.
It is his decision, I know, and that's it. I need to live with this. But if you see the differences, maybe it's a good tactic, or maybe it's not good tactic. We will see tomorrow in the afternoon.
There we are then. Keep up with the action on IRCseries.com. My name is Andrew Coley. I will be back with you for more from day 2, and we'll see if Mikkelsen's tactical decision was a good one. See you tomorrow.